Hi, Jean-Claude, right?
Jean-François. It's great to be here. I'm Greg Galant. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Shorty Awards, which is the largest award show for best of social media, and Muck, which is a PR software platform. And with our software that we do for PR, we use a lot of AI. So I've been fascinated listening to these companies, and way ahead of most stuff I've seen. I was transcribing our whole prep conversation for this panel using Sam's software. And just watching you guys build all this, what really struck me, and what I imagine a lot of people are thinking is, like, we want to build software this great. How do we get the engineers to do it? There's nothing harder than recruiting. And talking to you guys, too, is fascinating. Hearing how many of you have distributed your teams all over the world. Some of you keep them all in Silicon Valley. So I'd love just to go through the row and hear how you thought about where to put tell us where your offices are, how do you decide where to put them, and how do you attract the engineering talent to do this kind of work?
Jesus, yeah.
I guess I can go first. So our headquarters are in Lisbon. Part of the reason why we decided to have the team here is we had a huge network here already. So we started the company here, then we went to Silicon Valley for Y Combinator, and then afterwards we had to make the decision, do we come back, do we stay? But we felt that it was really hard to compete in Silicon Valley, and on the other hand, there was a lot of AI talent in Europe that was being, I wouldn't say untapped, but less requested. It was less challenging than in the US, and we knew a lot of it. So we felt it gave us really a heads up on starting here. And so far, it's been very successful. Part of it is because you end up having more visibility in a small market, so you can really make a statement, and your brand can have that impact. And part of it is because there's not that many companies right now, except for like big companies, doing serious AI work in language and translation. So you end up creating this hub where people that are interested in the area come to you. And in Portugal specifically is great because you can hire anybody in Europe. They don't need a visa. They can move to Lisbon. There's a lot of advantages to being here.
That's great, and you haven't been paid at all by the Portugal Chamber of Commerce or businesses.
I know it's weird because I'm a big defender of Lisbon. I'm from here. I've always been in love with Lisbon, and so I have this whole rationale of why this is the place to do it. From it's a stable place, everybody speaks English, technology is very developed, the weather is great, you're in the same time zone as London. There's I don't know. There's all this, but we could go on, but I think. Probably other people.
Yeah, I might not leave. But Sam, tell us about Silicon Valley and the wonders.
Yeah, we're based in Silicon Valley. I've been living there for 25 years. For me, it's one of the best places in the world. I went to Stanford, did my PhD there in computer distributed systems. Then I worked at Google for 4 years. I was the lead of a Google Map location service that created our team actually invented the blue dot on mobile map that helps you navigate. I quit Google myself in 2010 to build a startup in Palo Alto, Silicon Valley, and that company was successfully acquired. Then with my co-founder Yun Fu, we co-founded AISense, again, we try to understand all the voice conversation in the world and make it universally accessible and useful. Our team actually is still very small. We have only 15 full-time people, really lean, and we try to move really fast. Our people are extremely smart. We get people, a lot of people from Google. I came from Google, so I was able to recruit some people there. Facebook, Uber, Airbnb. Academically, we got PhDs from Cambridge University, Stanford, MIT, and all the best people. Recruiting is definitely extremely hard in Silicon Valley because, at Uber, they have all this stock. The company is worth $70 billion. They have to forfeit a big stock package to join a startup. So it's definitely a lot of risks, right? So you need to find people who are willing to take the risk and throw away sometimes $500,000 package to join us. So, but
if you're offering $500 million, I want to apply.
Eventually, I think we do have a very high aspiration. I think this could be $1 billion or even bigger business because just as I said, everybody talks so much in the world from billions of people. Where is this data? Most of the voice data is actually lost. So how do we organize that? How do we understand it? How do we get insight out of it? How do we improve people's life and work based on that information? So AI can help a lot.
Great.
Well, we're based in Seattle because life took me there with Microsoft. And I've been in Seattle almost 7 years. When I got there, I really loved it. It's the Mecca, or so the Washington government states, it's the Mecca of AI. I'm sure that Montreal stays the same. But it's really an amazing place to start a company in artificial intelligence. You have Amazon, you have Microsoft, you have Expedia, you have Costco, you have Starbucks, you have all the subsidiaries of the big companies there. So it's a vibrant place that everybody speaks AI there. So we have offices in Portugal. Actually, until recently, right now we're about 60 people globally. And almost 40 are in Lisbon and Porto. Reason being because I'm Portuguese. So when you start a company and you get a small check of $200,000 that you can make it last for a year, if I hire in Seattle, the money is gone in 2-3 months. If I hire in Portugal, things last at least in the beginning of the stretch of the product foundation. That was basically the reason. I understand the ecosystem here. I'm Portuguese. I found an amazing CTO, almost co-founder here, and a great general manager, and we're growing exponentially. We have a Tokyo office as well, because we got our last round, the seed round was led by Sony. So it's a big piece of our history, Japan, and it's one of our, after the US, the largest market. The hiring challenges, it's difficult to hire good people in any place, really. Good people, I believe that in the US, things are much faster, as you know. I mean, and besides, Seattle is even better than the Valley, because we're close enough, but we don't have that state tax that you guys have. So it's close enough to our flight, we can go there all the time, and we don't have to face the crowd and the cost of living there. So no, really, the hiring good people is difficult everywhere. We are at a point that we can afford hiring the right people where we can find it. So, and Portugal has amazing talent, as well as Seattle. It's in the AI space, it's a very big challenge to hire people in Tokyo, but we're getting there. We may move people around. We move people around a lot.
And thanks for the tax advice, too. Jeff?
I talked about the city already right after my presentation, so I'll just reiterate. Canada is a great place. There's good concentration of talent. Of course, it's not the scale that you're going to find in Silicon Valley, of course, but there's a great density of high quality talent. We went from 4 co-founders on October 24th of 2016 to today over 450 people. So we've been focusing a little bit on solving the hiring problem, and found a few tricks along the way. So happy to share a few of the insights. One of the first things we've done is
great stories in there.
We've been really taking a different approach when it gets to interacting with academia. So for those of you who don't know, my co-founder is Yoshua Bengio, which is one of the 3 recognized figures that contributed to a lot of the progress around deep learning. Very well known in the community. Really help you, get in touch with great people. At least they pick up the phone. So we had good access from the start. But really with Yoshua, we reinvented the way that companies collaborate and interface with professors. We've been building what we call a fellow network that is a very loosely managed, so there's a lot of flexibility in it, but constant interaction between groups of professors that are interested around certain topic of research, and then we bring to them relevant industrial and applied problems that we can solve or that are at the fringe of the scientific world, and then we help them do research and be inspired and have new ideas. Along that, it enables our employee to be in touch with the world-renowned researcher in the field and then do a lot of collaboration. So that is a very attractive proposition for our team. And really from the start, even if we were just a few people, we were capable of saying, hey, no, but you're not going to be alone. You're going to have access to 10 different professors that we've hired. They're mostly at the university, but you can call them up, or you can show up at their office and then have access to them. So that's one thing. There's been a few pieces on a non-predatory model that we've developed some nuances. That was one. Second was to build a brand that is trustable, that is out there, and that is 360. So we're not just about the tech that we're building and to go fast and break everything. We're actually the opposite. We want to be mindful. We want to be trusted. We want to do the right things. And then we're engaged socially, and we're taking positions. And that also helps you cater to people that relates to the same values. And that was really key. Our diversity value, like the fact that we believe in providing access to all of the organizations to the technology was something very key in attracting people. The last thing I'll mention is a Canadian advantage, an unfair advantage. It's called the Global Skills Strategy. In 2 weeks, I submit for any jobs at my company. You just need to be approved part of the Global Skills Strategy from Canada. And then your company can have a visa for work in 2 weeks for the future employee and his spouse. So both. And then we offer a work environment in Montreal and in Toronto. So when we compete against Facebook, Google, wherever they're located, we send a job offer, and then 2 weeks later, the visa alongside.
Yeah.
And then when you compete on the other side, you have people that, oh yeah, I have a job maybe at Google, but in 12 months I might know if I go through the process and blah, 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 blah. Guess who gets the talent? They come to Canada. So that was another piece that was quite useful for us.
Oh, well, I'm from New York, and now I don't know if I should move to Seattle, Washington for the tax break, Lisbon for the talent, Canada for the Canadian advantage, or Silicon Valley to hang out with Sam.
My guess is you're going to stay in New York.
You might be right, like a good New Yorker, yeah. And probably not leave the 5-block radius of my apartment.
That was my expectation, right?
As most New Yorkers don't. But I wanted to open up to everybody else. I love the ideas from JF, and kind of my question is, and whoever wants to jump in here, if you've got a startup out there and you only have so much cash, aside from being able to compete on a cash offer and, of course, offering a bunch of equity in your company, what are the tricks you guys have used to beat out competing offers from bigger companies that might offer more in cash, or other startups that might offer more in equity? What are the non-financial?
From what I see here, I mean, there's very different stages, right? When you're 600 people, your strategies are very different than when you're 20, right? I mean, when you're hiring 5 people, I think you're really targeting the 5 people that are going to be in love with what you're doing, right? They believe in the mission. They're like, yes, I mean, there's a certain range of money you need to address and stock options, et cetera, but fundamentally, they want to build that thing with you, right? If you're at 600 people, it's a little bit different, right? I mean, you're really competing with Google and Facebook on a toe-to-toe. So very different strategies. I mean, for us, the first 10 people were personal network, which is, I think, all of us started in, who do I know? How do I get those people? And then once you get to like 50 or 60 people, you need to start thinking about recruiter, like an internal recruiter, the culture, like how do you create a brand? How do you attract people? Different ball game, I think.
That's a good point. I'd love to focus on like just the first 5 or 10 hires for people out there who are just getting started.
Absolutely.
The first few people, I mean, these guys are going to be leaders of the company when you scale up. Think about the first 10 people from Google, Facebook, Uber. Title doesn't really matter in the first 20 or 30 people you hire. So if you see somebody who keep asking about what title am I going to have, that's the wrong person, because it doesn't really matter. If you ask this guy who joined Google 20 years ago, Marissa Mayer, when she joined, what's her title? There's no title. Everybody's a software engineer at that stage, right? So when we hire people from Google, from Facebook, from Uber, right? We want to look for people who want to do the job, who are passionate about the product. This is not something. This is a little different in Europe. In some sense, you want work-life balance, but you want people who are living and breathing the product 24 hours a day. For myself, in my dream, I'm still designing the product, literally, because I use it every day, every meeting as much as possible. So you want to look for people who come to work and who enjoy the work. They come to work is not just to get the paycheck. It's something that they enjoy. They love the working environment. They love the team. They're really proud of the product they build. If they build a feature that 1 million people use, that's the biggest satisfaction they can get. Of course, as the company grow big, we grow from 20 people to 100 people, even bigger, they will get, their stock will be worth much more. So, but we want people to get sense of achievement from the success of the product first. Then I firmly believe the money will follow. So, but you think money secondly rather than first.
That's great.
I just want to comment on 2 or 3 things. Every location has different expectations on what people are looking for. To start with, we have 3 continents here with 3 very different regions, right? It's the US, Seattle, it's Tokyo, it's Portugal. Not everybody is looking for the same thing. For us, what is more important is the cultural fit in the company. We are not like most of the companies, even growing. Yes, we are now starting to establish, we're going to have to be 100 people in Q1 of next year. So we still need 40, we have 40 more positions to fill in a few months. So yes, we need a recruiter now, and we have one. We have headhunters, because our network is gone. We just don't do that anymore, right? But every location has different expectations. Some people are about the money, some people are about the traveling, some people are about the coolness of AI, and some people are about equity. And some people are about bonification. So it really, or teamwork, but it depends on the location. And you got to be flexible within the package that, to be fair, across each location still makes sense. But the cultural fit is the most difficult part. Every company
and I just got to
one.
jump to the next topic because we're running short on time. The one thing I want to know, and 30-second answer from each person, just so we stay on track. But what can't AI do now, or what's no one doing well in AI today that you think will be possible in the next...
that will be possible?
That will be possible in the next 3 years, let's say.
Well, because we do speech recognition and natural language understanding, the understanding part is still very, very difficult.
But that won't be possible in the next 3 years. I don't think meaning...
Partially.
We're not even close to meaning. So the challenge is things that we can't do today, but we can in 3 years. I don't know. Anybody wants to venture a guess? 3 years?
I mean, what you're going to see is
In 3 years.
A constant progression in increase of accuracy and increase of an understanding from the industry of how to interact with models more and more. Because now, like, companies and organizations will have multiple models running in parallel, and managing and aligning the intention and the outcomes of all of these areas is very, very hard. And right now, nobody has the right answer on how to do that well. I think we're gonna figure that one out. And as accuracy goes up around many problems, and we've seen it with ImageNet. That was a good example. Deep learning got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and then around 90% accuracy, suddenly it changed the world. Because suddenly you could reliably use this as an input. So AI will make similar type of very unseen progress, and then we'll reach tipping points, and a new area are going to start to open.
It largely depends on the quantity of data. One ImageNet, you mentioned that it's actually a Fei Li from Stanford. Similar to voice, once you have millions of hours conversation, we will be able to understand people's intention much better. And also combined with this mobile device, the mobile device actually provides a lot of context regarding where you are, who you are talking to. That helps understanding the intention of the words.
But I'm sorry,
Actually,
just
we're just about out.
there we go.
Daniela, do you want
We have
to
to
take the
continue
last
that.
word?
The world is going to be voice enabled. Everything is going to be voice enabled. We're going to talk with our cars, with our refrigerators, with our TVs, with our computers. Everything is going to be voice enabled.
That's great. Thank you. Well, join me in thanking our panel. This is great.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to get the AI transcription of the panel, too.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Right.